Well, the Colorado coaching search has all of a sudden become a very trendy topic. And for those of us Colorado fans, today we lay down a foundation. This program should expect the best, not accept the scraps. You're watching right on Q Buff Spot.
Running the option on first down. Hagan has it. He has room. He's got one man to beat. Now he pitches to Flanagan, and he may take it all the way. Flanagan's in for the touchdown. He needs 28 yards to get him to 2,000. Here is the give to Salam. Salam to the outside. He's down to the 50. He's got 2,000. He's on his way. 20, 15, 10. Let's it go. He's got three people down there. The ball's up in the air. Caught. Graham is out the football. And Graham has for the end zone. Greenberg, play action, walks one. Got his man. It's Jeremy Roll. Nobody's going to catch him. Third down and 7. Blitz coming. Scooped up by Colorado, and a big man running all the way.
Welcome in, welcome back. That is right, you are watching right on Q Buff Spot. Thanks again for checking us out. I am your host, Tyson Quiller. Appreciate all the support. Again, we just kind of continue to grow and grow. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with anyone you think might find it interesting, and send me your feedback. I'm always getting in the feedback. I'm always responding. I appreciate all of your feedback. And like a previous episode, like today, we're going to take a look at some of that feedback and get your opinions out on this platform as well. This is our place to talk Colorado football from true fans of the program. Today, we are going to be talking about the next stage in our progression of this coaching search, and I think the foundation must be laid, because I've already been kind of looking at the articles, looking at the videos, and seeing just this watered down table of candidates, and it's like, well, we're going to find some obscure defensive coordinator over here, or offensive coordinator where, like, we're going to find some needle in the haystack, the next Lincoln Riley, the next Ryan Day. Okay, listen, that may work for Oklahoma, Ohio State, and by the way, those dudes had been there for a long period of time. They had thoroughly vetted them before they took over for Urban Meyer and Bob Stoops. But no, what we deserve here at the University of Colorado, this is one of 23 programs, just 23, that has both won a national title and has a Heisman Trophy winner. This is an elite job, and we must treat it as such, okay? We want a proven winner coming in and taking over this program. We don't need to be taking wild Vegas-type shots, okay? And so that's what we're going to do today, is we are going to look at 10 absolute must-call candidates for Athletic Director Rick George. And let's go ahead and let's just start right here. The lay of the land, okay, here in the National College Football landscape. So there's two sides to every market, okay? You've got the supply side, obviously, and the demand side. The supply side would be the field of available coaching candidates. Demand side are the number of programs that are looking for a head coach. Now, currently, there are 5 FBS head coaching openings, and they are Georgia Tech, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Arizona State, and Colorado. Now, I talked about this before, but this is why you can't wait. When it's time to move on from Durrell, you had to move on. Because as the season progresses, you're going to have more and more openings, and it's going to be more of a competitive landscape. You're less likely to get the candidates that you desire. Listen, planning, research, preparation should have already taken place. Okay, at this point, they should have a fleet of candidates in their mind, and they should be contacting them. Today, we are going to discuss some absolute must-calls, like I said, and again, as I've reiterated before, they may tell you no, and this group may all tell you no, but dang it, you make them tell you no. We will not defeat ourselves before we try, and that's what so many of these hot take articles coming out now are. Look at this obscure coaching candidate here or there, whatever. It's like, no, we need to look at the best and make them tell us no and work our way down from there. So here are all of the new Power 5 head coaches hired from 2015 to 2019. Now, the reason I chose that date range, 2020, 2021, both kind of wonky because of COVID and the seasons were shortened, different things. And then 2022 may have been more indicative of the natural landscape of college football, but we've only got like 4 games, 5 games to go off of whether those hires were good or bad or whatever. So I think this is the most applicable data set we can use to prepare our first analysis. Now, from 2015 to 2019, 53 head coaches were hired. 4 of those head coaches had previously been the interim head coach after the prior coach had been fired. Kind of just too small of a data set. You can't really mine anything productive out of that. Additionally, 4 of the new coaches had NFL head coaching experience. Too small of a data set. Can't really mine anything out of that. Also, more than half of the wins from this group comes from Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. You can't make decisions on a single point factor. So let's look to some different factors, okay? 33 of those 53 head coaches that were hired from 2015 to 2019 had previously been head coaches. They had a winning percentage at this job that they were just hired for of .541. That averages out to about 7 wins per year. Not bad, not great. 7 of those coaches were previously offensive coordinators. A little bit higher win percentage, 0.548, but in that category you're talking about Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, like we mentioned before, and it is just 1 percentage point higher, 7.1 wins per year. 9 of those 53 head coaches that were hired were previously defensive coordinators, and this was kind of surprising to me, but that was the lowest win percentage, about 6.8 wins per year. Now you might say, Tyson, I mean, this is all basically immaterial, right? Statistically irrelevant. It's within the margin of error. Okay, so let's drill down another factor, 2 factors here. How about 12 of those 33 previous head coaches were previously Power 5 head coaches? Now we're seeing some disparity. 0.603 win percentage. That's 7.8 wins per year. That if you take out one dude, Les Miles from Kansas, if you just remove him, that's 8 wins per year. Now, 21 of these new head coaches were previously Group of 5 head coaches. Their win percentage at their next job was 0.495, 6.5 wins per year. That seems very material to me. So our tiers of strength of hire from this mindset of kind of a macro data projected level as we move forward in vetting our coaching candidates is number 1 with a bullet, Power 5 head coaching experience. Number 2, Power 5 coordinator experience. Number 3, Group of 5 head coaching experience. And then within that coordinator experience, offense slightly above defense. So today, we're just talking about candidates that fit into that top category with Power 5 head coaching experience. I know I'm going to get some feedback. I thought you just put Ryan Walters onto your canvas. Yeah, we will discuss the coordinators and we can see what we like about each candidate in our next Coach's Canvas video. This one today, we are making a declarative statement. This program should be pursuing the best candidates. Okay, and this whole mindset of they have to have some tie to the University of Colorado. Listen, I like this article from the Denver Post. Totally nailed it on the head. All right, we need to shed this feeling that they have to have some tie to the University of Colorado. I don't care if they've ever visited the state of Colorado. I want a winning head football coach here. So this first group here is called Old Dogs But Proven Champs. And I know I'm going to get a lot of feedback, people saying, oh, you're so ridiculous, you got your head in the clouds, this or that. Make them tell you no. Make them tell you no, Rick George. Urban Meyer. At Florida from 2005 to 2009, he went 65-15. They appeared in 6 bowl games and won 5 of them, including 2 national championships. At Ohio State from 2012 to 2018, he went 83-9. They appeared in 7 bowl games. He won 5 of them, including another national championship. Win percentage of .854. This 58-year-old coach has won 3 college football national championships. Like I just mentioned, 2 at Florida, 1 at Ohio State. He is currently not under contract, but is rumored for the Nebraska job. We should be competing for him. Next, Bob Stoops, coach from 1999 to 2016 at Oklahoma. 191-48 in that stretch. They owned the Big 12 through that stretch of seasons. 10 bowl game victories, .799 career win percentage. Stoops, the winningest head coach in Oklahoma history, is 62 years old. He won the national championship with the Sooners in the year of 2000. He is currently the head coach of the Arlington Renegades in the XFL, which will return to play in February of 2023, assuming they don't go bankrupt again. He clearly has interest in coaching, and his contract is likely less than $1 million per year in the XFL. I think this is a possible get. And finally, Ed Orgeron. As the interim at USC in 2013, they went 6-2. I bet USC for the last decade has been kicking themselves that they didn't hire him on full-time. At LSU from 2016 to 2021, he went 51-20, really petered out the last couple of years, but they got that national championship. 4 of the 5 bowl games they went to, they won. .588 win percentage. Every one of these coaches has experience not only being winning programs in the Power 5, but basically owning their conferences. Coach Edo is 61 years old, was a long-time career assistant until, like I said, taking over as interim head coach at USC in 2013. Orgeron headed up that Joe Burrow LSU squad that won the national championship in 2019, maybe the most prolific offense in college football history. He's currently a free agent, kind of traveling around. In the offseason, he was making kind of appearances at spring and summer camps at different teams. Miami, I know I saw him at that one. And now one more guy who's, I think, a clear step below those two, but would certainly be an outstanding hire, Chris Peterson, coached at both Boise State and Washington. Listen, in his first season as head coach in 2006, ironically, because CU hired away Dan Hawkins, who turned out to be a failure for us, Boise State went 13-0. They beat Oklahoma in that infamous Fiesta Bowl where they had the hook and ladder and then the Statue of Liberty. They finished that season ranked number 5 in the country. Peterson is the one who put Boise State on the map as we know them now. Peterson has had a winning season in every single year he has coached. Never had a losing season, not once. We, of course, know him more recently for taking the Washington Huskies to the college football playoff in 2017. In his 6 years at the helm of UW, they finished ranked in the top 16 in the country 3 times. They made 3 New Year's 6 bowl games. He's currently, just in his second season as a TV analyst for Fox Sports. That could be a get. Now this next group, past success, current struggles. Now I may be reaching a little bit here. There's certainly a significant drop-off from the previous 4 coaches to these 2 guys, but these 2 guys have had their programs excellent for extended periods of time in the past. First, David Shaw at Stanford. He took over the helm after Jim Harbaugh left to go coach the 49ers. He has coached at Stanford from 2011 to the current season, 94-49. They've gone to 8 bowl games under Shaw and won 5 of them, .657 career win percentage. The 50-year-old David Shaw has had his Cardinal finish in the top 25 6 times in the last 11 years. He has won 3 Pac-12 championships and was named the Pac-12 Coach of the Year 4 times. Now, this is the only guy from this group. You may be sensing a trend here. This is the only guy from this group that may require some substantial buyout. All the rest of them don't require some substantial buyout. There's not real financial implications in the way of picking them up. But to be quite honest, Stanford might be willing to pay some of his buyout. Since 2019, Stanford has won 4 games, then they won 4 games, then 3 games, and they're currently 1-4. If not for the bust, they'd be the worst team in the Pac-12. Next, Gary Patterson. Longtime coach at TCU from 2000 to 2021, 181-79 in that period. Took TCU to 17 bowl games and won 11 of them. .696 career win percentage. Now Patterson is 62 years old. A couple of these guys I mentioned are up in their 60s, but in his 21 seasons at TCU, they have won 6 conference titles. He has an 11-6 bowl record. In the 3 New Year's 6 games that they were invited to, the Peach, Fiesta, and Rose Bowl, Patterson's Horned Frogs went 2-1, a winning record in New Year's 6 bowls. But after starting the season just 3-5 last year, Patterson stepped down. He is currently just an offensive analyst on the Texas Longhorns staff. All right, we're through the first 6 of our 10 must calls. Again, I know I'm going to hear it all. You're dreaming, head in the clouds. I'm going to keep hammering this. You make them tell you no. This is an elite program. We went through all of the resources at this program's disposal in our first coach's canvas. You need to act like it. Do not go bottom dwelling and fishing. We don't need the scraps off of someone else's plate. We will go at and target the best. Next group, steady program builders. This is where you're going to start to hear maybe some of the names that you've seen other people talking about. Bronco Mendenhall, BYU. He was the head coach from 2005 to 2015. 99 wins to just 43 losses. He took the Cougars to 11 bowl games, and they won 6 of them. Then he went on to Virginia to take over the head coaching job there from 2016 to 2021. Just 36 and 38 there, only 2 bowl game appearances, okay? But in his career, he has a .625 win percentage. In that decade that Mendenhall coached at BYU, the Cougars won 8 or more games 8 times. The other 2 years that they didn't win 8 games, they won 6 and 7. Not a single losing season. He has coached his teams to 3 conference titles and once was named Conference Coach of the Year. Bronco Mendenhall is 56 years old and is currently just a free agent, basically. Next, and this is a dude that I'm really high on. Paul Chryst just got fired from Wisconsin. He was the head coach at Pittsburgh from 2012 to 2014, where they went basically 500, and Wisconsin kind of took a flyer, hiring him. He's from Wisconsin. He had played at Wisconsin. He was one of their guys, and so he comes into Wisconsin from 2015 to 2022, goes 67 and 26, takes them to 8 bowl games, and they won 7 of them. They were a perennial power in the Big Ten Conference, .656 career win percentage. Now, Wisconsin moved on from Paul Chryst, right? Because, you're now 2-3, and you lose at home to Illinois, who's perennially a terrible team. But a lot of people might not know there's a lot more to the story here, okay? Illinois' head coach is Brett Bielema. Okay, he had previously coached at Wisconsin from 2007 to 2012 and was actually very successful, to be quite honest. But he left the program to take the head coaching job at Arkansas. Apparently, they just hate Brett Bielema in Madison, so that's a factor. But also, we talked about this guy a couple of weeks ago. They have the defensive coordinator, Jim Leonard, who was a linebacker at Wisconsin as well. And I talked about how he has had one of the top defenses in the country the last several years. And he was kind of just in waiting, right? And it sounds like the boosters were kind of worried with the available coaching spots like Nebraska and Colorado opening up. So he is the interim. And he'll have the rest of the season to prove he is deserving of the job. But you know what? Their loss can be our gain. Now check this out here from Matt Fortuna on Twitter. This will blow your mind. Paul Chryst is a Madison native, a Wisconsin alum. He has spent 33 of his 56 years of life in town as either a kid, the Badgers quarterback, or the Wisconsin coach. He was 67 and 26, 43 and 18 in the Big Ten. And he won 3 Big Ten West titles, 2 New Year's Six Bowls, and was the 2-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. And Wisconsin just waved goodbye to him. So like I said, their loss can certainly be our gain. Next, we have Dan Mullen. Okay, at Mississippi State from 2009-2017, they went 69 and 46. Took them to 7 bowl games. They won 5 of them. Florida liked the look of Dan Mullen. They hired him. Another guy I cannot believe that they fired, but I've mentioned this to you before. Their loss can be our gain. From 2017 to 2021, 67 and 26 with 2 bowl game wins, .628 career win percentage. Again, these are all guys who succeeded at a relatively high level in Power 5 conferences. Dan Mullen is just 50 years old. A lot of coaching left in him. He led Florida to 3 top 15 finishes in his 4 seasons at Gainesville and was named the SEC Coach of the Year in 2014. And finally, in breaking news this week, the Panthers, a guy, we told you about rumors of this. We thought he would be available. Breaking news, the Panthers have fired Matt Rule. Let me remind you of who Matt Rule is, not at the NFL level, but at the college football level. In 3 years at Baylor, when he took over the first year in 2017, they went 1-11. That's our territory right now. We're right in there. Okay, we'll go 1-11, 0-12 probably this year, all right? Second year, 6-7 in 2018, and then by year 3, 11-3 in 2019, made a Sugar Bowl appearance. Baylor finished the season ranked number 13 in the country. In just 3 years, he did that. 3 years. Prior to Baylor, Rule was the head coach at Temple. They had 2 10-win seasons in his 4 years there. Now, there are 2 other guys that I think, talent-wise and success-wise, are deserving of being mentioned with this group. Unfortunately, both of them, I think, are non-starters. The first is Kalani Sitake, the BYU head coach. He just signed a new deal through 2027, less than 6-7 months ago. Okay, that's going to be more than a $10 million buyout. You couple that with Durrell's, and I think that may be a non-starter. And both of these guys are not so much superior to the other candidates that I think you would have to spend that kind of money on them. Dave Aranda at Baylor, he too just signed a new deal through 2029 this past February. Also would be certainly more than a $10 million buyout. So those are the 10 coaches. Those are the 10 must-contact coaches for Rick George. No excuse. You must reach out to them. You must, because if any of those got hired, it would be splashed across national news, and it would do miracles for a recruiting transfer portal. All of a sudden, you'd get so much excitement in the community. I mean, think about what happened at USC when they hired Lincoln Riley. Now, what you're looking at here on the left is the preseason top 25 rankings. On the right is the current top 25 rankings. Now, I'm showing you this to illustrate that there is so much parity going on in college football, but one team really basically is just consistent. 10 teams, including number 5 from the preseason, 6, 9, 10. 10 of the 25 preseason top 25 teams are now no longer in the rankings. So, I mean, I guess that kind of illustrates how nobody really knows what the hell's going on coming into the season, aside from maybe like the top 4 or 5. But also it illustrates how much parity is occurring naturally. You have teams we've talked about, like Kansas, Syracuse, Duke even, right, that are rising up from the ashes, and we're stuck here as now officially the only remaining team in college football. 132 teams, only one of them has yet to win a game, and you guessed it, that's your Colorado Buffaloes. Now, some people are citing this as kind of an excuse. Oh, it's not that the program's in such terrible shape, it's that we have such a difficult schedule. And you know what? We have had a difficult schedule. You're right. I mean, we had to play exactly 0 ranked teams. So, there's that. But let's take this another step deeper, okay? Several people provided me with this. That's not the point. Let's look at the teams that are around the Buffs here at the top end of the strength of schedule, okay? First of all, you have Arkansas. Their record is 3-3. Ours is 0-5. Okay? It's not that we're losing close to tough teams. We're getting blown out. So what this means, so let's take another team. Every one of these teams, by the way, Arkansas, Texas Tech, Notre Dame, Auburn, Texas A&M, all of them have won 3 games. We haven't won any. So this might be a valid conversation if we were like 2-3, 3-2, and people thought we were underperforming, but we're 0-5. Every one of those losses by 23 or more points. What that means is we would be 0-5 if we were ranked 20th, 30th, maybe 40th, maybe 50th on this strength of schedule ranking. So I'm just going to go ahead and dismiss that out of hand. I'm sorry if that hurts some feelings. Now what you are looking at here, okay, and I'm speaking directly to the Regents, I'm speaking directly to Phil DeStefano, Rick George. What you are looking at here is the fan support that UCLA is getting in the Rose Bowl when they are undefeated and they're playing a top 10 opponent in Utah. That's the kind of fan support you get at UCLA. And Buff fans pack that stadium. Okay, earn it, please. Earn it. Earn it. Now let's wrap things up here with a little bit of your feedback, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. First, David Mandel. Great perspective you have provided. Thank you. Hey, thank you, David. Thanks for watching, all right? The bottom line, until CU removes its restrictive academic transfer and recruiting constraints and remove clueless, disinterested regents like Phil DeStefano, there isn't a coach in existence who can succeed here. Now, I don't believe that's the case, okay? But I have been provided with this multiple times, and I do appreciate you providing it to me. This situation with the transfer requirements, it sounds like, and I'm going to fully admit right up front, I am not very well versed at it. I'm going to research into it and see if I can investigate and find out more about it. Please let me know if you have any tips or pointers of where to look to get this information. But apparently CU's transfer requirements in order to transfer credits into the school are at such an astronomically high level, like basically an Ivy League, that it disqualifies so many players from coming here, because in order for them to transfer here, they would have to lose out on like a whole semester of credits. And one of the categories that I've heard talked about multiple times especially is kind of like the foreign language requirement, which should not be a factor, especially for athletes who are transferring into the school. Now, Reg P. Harvey, okay, excellent analysis. Thank you, Reg. Hey, thanks again for watching and for the support. CU should pursue a defensive-minded coach. That is what has been turning things around for Cal and Oregon State, I'm sure is what that is, and what Utah's program is built off of. In the NIL era, we'll never be able to attract the kind of recruits needed to field a high-powered offense. And I've kind of talked about this a little bit. I tend to agree with that. And in a previous episode, I told you, I don't know if it would be the worst thing in the world for us to just go completely off the board and do like a triple option set and slow the game down, because we may not be able, and it may be true, Reg, we may not be able to compete with some of these other high-powered programs on offense. Defense, I would say, typically I've had that same opinion. However, from the numbers we just looked at, hiring a defensive-minded head coach really didn't provide you with any advantages over offensive coordinator or certainly a head coach with previous Power 5 experience. So, and again, thank you for the feedback. We'll continue to investigate. Like I said, today we were just going over that top tier cream of the crop. This is where we should aim. And so if we miss, we'll fall at the top end of the next echelon rather than starting at the top end of the next echelon and winding up with like a Dan Hawkins or a Mike McIntyre. Listen, we don't need to be picking off of San Jose State and Boise State scraps. All right, we should expect the best here. I've said it several times today. But anyways, you tell me, send me your feedback, ROQCS on Twitter, ROQCS@gmail.com. Like I said, I will respond to your feedback. I'll get it on here. This is a place where we can thoroughly vet and flesh this out. Hey, we just had a week in fall where the Buffs didn't lose. All right, we're on a roll. We're getting better. It was a bye week, I know. Anyways, send me that feedback. I appreciate all your support. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much again for watching. You have been watching Right on Cue Buff Spot. I am your host, Tyson Quiller. And until next time, go Buffs.
Running the option on first down. Hagan has it. He has room. He's got one man to beat. Now he pitches to Flanagan, and he may take it all the way. Flanagan's in for the touchdown. He needs 28 yards to get into 2,000. Here is the give to Salam. Salam to the outside.